Somewhere after 70, standing still stops being simple. Your balance quietly fades, your legs weaken, and your body gets slower at catching itself when you wobble. That is one reason more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls every year, and why falling once nearly doubles your odds of falling again. But balance is not something you simply lose to age. It is a skill, and skills come back when you practice them. Today, I will show you how, at home, holding your own kitchen counter in about a minute a day with no gym and no equipment. And before we go any further, let me mention one small thing, and then I promise I will only bring it up this once. After all these years, I finally sat down and put everything I know into one simple guide, written plain, made just for us. If you would like a copy, just tap the link down in the description below and grab it there. That is my one and only plug, and you have my word on it. Let me start with the part almost nobody explains, which is why steadiness slips in the first place. When you were younger, staying upright happened in the background. Three systems handled it without ever asking you. Your eyes told you where the floor was. Your inner ear, deep behind each eardrum, sensed every tiny tilt of your head. And the nerves in the soles of your feet fed your brain a constant map of the ground beneath you. On top of all of that sat the strength in your ankles, calves, and hips, ready to fire the instant you started to tip. Past age 70, all 4 of those quietly dim at the same time. The eyes take longer to adjust in a dim room. The inner ear loses some of its fine sensitivity. The feet feel a little less. And the muscles that catch a stumble grow weaker whenever they are not asked to work. None of that is your fault, and here is the part that matters most. Every one of those systems answers to practice. The nerves in your feet sharpen when you challenge them. The catching muscles in your legs grow stronger when you use them. Staying on your own 2 feet is a trained ability, and the body keeps that door open at any age. And let me say plainly what all of this is really for, because it is bigger than exercise. It is staying in the home you love on your own terms for as long as you possibly can. The thing that most often forces a capable older person out of their own house is rarely old age itself. More often, it is a single bad fall and the broken hip or the lost nerve that follows. Balance work is quiet insurance on your independence. So on the mornings these exercises feel like a bother, remember what they are buying you. The freedom to walk to your own mailbox, carry your own groceries, and get up in the night without fear. That is the real prize, and it is worth 10 careful minutes tucked into your day. There is one more reason to start now rather than someday, and it is the quiet trap almost no one warns you about. It is the fear itself. After a fall, or even a bad scare, it is natural to move more carefully and to sit more, to skip the walk, to hold the walls. It feels safer. But the less you move, the weaker your legs get and the duller your balance becomes, which makes the next stumble more likely, which makes you even more afraid to move. That loop, fear leading to stillness, leading to weakness, leading to more fear, pulls a great many older people downhill faster than any single fall ever could. The way out of that loop is gentle, steady movement done safely, starting today. Confidence comes back the same way it faded, a little at a time. You do a little, you prove to yourself you can, and you do a little more. So before any exercise, let us take a quick, honest measurement, because you cannot see yourself improving if you never wrote down where you began. Steady yourself with both hands on the countertop and lift 1 foot an inch off the floor. Keep a clock or a phone where you can see it, and count how many seconds you hold that single leg stand before you have to set the foot down or grab on hard. Try both legs and note the smaller number. That is your first baseline. Then sit in a firm chair, arms folded across your chest, and count how many times you can stand fully up and sit back down in half a minute. That is your Chair, chair, stand, number. Two little checks, the single leg stand and the 30-second chair stand, are the same simple measures clinicians use to gauge steadiness in older adults. And you can run them yourself on any quiet Tuesday morning. Write both numbers on a slip of paper and stick it on the fridge. Do not judge them. A few seconds on one leg is a perfectly normal place to begin for many people your age. Do not treat that number as a grade. It is only a starting block to beat later. Come back in 3 or 4 weeks, run the same 2 tests, and watch the numbers climb. That rising figure on your fridge door will keep you going on the mornings you would rather not, far better than I ever could. Now, before we build your steadiness up, let me point out the ordinary things quietly tearing it down. Because the best routine in the world cannot outrun a house full of trip hazards. Most falls at home do not come from anything dramatic. They come from small things you have stopped noticing. Loose rugs that slide or curl at the edge, electrical cords running across a walkway, a dark hallway with no light switch you can reach, clutter left on the stairs, reading glasses or bifocals worn while going down steps, which blur the very spot your foot needs to find, socks on a slick floor, rushing to catch the phone or reach the bathroom in the dark. Walk your own home this week like a stranger seeing it new. Roll up or tape down the rugs, or better yet, take them away. Move the cords tight against the wall. Put a lamp or a nightlight within arm's reach of your bed and along the whole path to the bathroom, since the middle of the night is when so many falls happen. Keep the steps clear and make sure both handrails are bolted solid. Wear something with a firm back and a non-slip sole indoors, not loose scuffs. And take the bifocals off or tip your chin down when you go downstairs. And do not forget your eyes themselves, since they are one of the 3 systems holding you upright. Get them checked once a year, keep your glasses prescription current, and give any new pair of bifocals or progressives a few careful days before you trust them on the stairs. Because a fresh prescription changes where the floor appears to be. Good light and clear vision quietly do a real share of your balancing for you. 2 more surprise a lot of people. First, some medicines and some combinations of them can leave you lightheaded or unsteady. And that includes common ones for blood pressure, sleep, and pain. You never stop a prescription on your own, but it is well worth asking your doctor or pharmacist out loud whether anything you take. Second, if the room swims for a second when you rise from a chair or the bed, that is your blood pressure dropping as you stand, which is common later in life. The fix is simple. Get up slowly, in stages. Sit on the edge first, plant your feet, wait for a breath or 2, then rise. That single pause has spared many people a nasty fall. A few more everyday things quietly help your steadiness, and a few quietly work against it. Water is a simple one. Being even mildly dehydrated can leave you dizzy and foggy. And older bodies feel thirst less sharply, so sip water through the day rather than waiting until you feel parched. Vitamin D and getting enough protein both matter for keeping bone and muscle strong as you age. And low vitamin D in particular has been tied to weaker balance in older adults, so it is worth asking your doctor at your next. I am not going to hand you doses or a diet plan, because that is a conversation for you and your doctor who know your health. And one honest rule for the exercises themselves. On a day you feel sick, unusually dizzy, short of breath, or you have a new pain that worries you, do not push through it. Rest that day and try again tomorrow. That good judgment is what keeps you safe enough to keep doing this for years. While we are talking about staying upright, let us settle the question of shoes and canes, because the right gear makes every exercise safer. A good shoe for balance has a firm heel that holds your heel snug, a sole thin and firm enough to feel the floor, and a proper fit with no sliding around inside. The worst offenders are floppy open-back slippers, smooth-soled dress shoes, and thick, squishy soles that numb your feel for the ground. If your favorite house slippers flap loose at the heel, that alone is worth fixing this week. And if you already use a cane or a walker, please use it correctly, because a mishandled cane is its own hazard. A cane is sized right when the top reaches the crease of your wrist while you stand tall with your arm relaxed. You hold the cane on your stronger side, the side opposite your weaker leg, and you move the cane forward together with the weak leg so they share the load. If a cane is not quite enough and you have a walker, keep it close to your body rather than reaching far ahead, and step into it. Never lean and drag it along behind you. There is nothing about that to be ashamed of. Using the right support well is how capable people keep moving and keep their confidence for years longer. One last foundation before we move, and it is a quiet one: how you carry yourself. The way you hold your body changes your balance before you take a single step, so stand tall. Stack your head over your shoulders over your hips over your heels, so your weight drops in a straight line down through your body. A stooped head-forward posture tips your center of gravity out past your toes, and your poor legs spend all day fighting to reel it back. Lift the crown of your head gently toward the ceiling, soften your knees so they are not locked, and let your gaze rest out at eye level on the far wall, not down at your feet. A steady gaze out at the horizon helps hold you upright, so keep your eyes up and off your feet. Carry that tall, open. We begin gentle with a warm-up because cold, stiff ankles wobble more than warm ones. Slowly shift your weight onto your right foot, feel it press into the floor, then pour it over onto your left. Do not lift anything yet. Just move your weight from side to side, like water tipping in a glass, 10 times each way, and feel how your ankles and hips make tiny corrections all the way through. That is your balance system waking up. Then lift your toes up toward you while your heels stay planted and rock forward onto the balls of your feet, back and forth.
Then loosen up top as well.
Roll your shoulders back a few times, then gently look side to side and up and down to wake the neck. Since a stiff neck, and breathe easily the whole time, in through the nose, out slowly through the mouth, because holding your breath tightens you up and makes every wobble worse. Keep it slow and easy, and your whole body settles. A couple of minutes of this, and you are ready for real work. Exercise 1 is the classic, standing on one leg. It looks almost too simple to matter, and it stays one of the very best things you can do. Set up in your corner or at the counter with both hands holding on. Slowly lift one foot off the floor an inch or two and hold. If you manage only a few seconds, that is your line, and it will move. Build toward half a minute on each leg. Begin with both hands, then fingertips, then one finger, then nothing, but only as far as you feel completely safe. Work both sides, because almost everyone has a stronger leg and a wobblier one, and the wobbly one is exactly where the practice pays. The common mistake is holding your breath and going rigid. Keep breathing, fix your eyes on a spot on the wall ahead, and let the small wobbles come. The wobble is the exercise. That is your body learning to catch you. Exercise 2 is the heel-to-toe stand, which shrinks your base and teaches your body to hold a narrow line. Keep your hands on the counter for support. Now place one foot directly in front of the other, so the heel of your front foot nearly touches the toes of the back one, as though you stood on a tightrope. Hold that line as long as you comfortably can, working toward 30 seconds, then switch which foot leads. You will feel your ankles laboring side to side to keep you on the line. And that side-to-side control is precisely what holds you upright on a narrow stair or the lip of a curb. Keep both hands ready. This one catches people off guard because a stance this narrow is far harder than it appears. Exercise 3 takes that narrow line and puts it in motion. This is heel-to-toe walking, sometimes called the tightrope walk. Stand alongside your counter so you can trail one hand down it the whole way, or hold a cane in your free hand. Now walk forward in a straight line, placing the heel of each foot right in front of the toes of the other, heel to toe, slow and deliberate. Here is the detail most people miss. Look straight ahead, not down at your feet. When you stop staring at your feet, your body has to sense where they are on its own. And that sense, and knowing where your body is without looking, is the very thing that saves you in a dark hallway at 2 a.m. If that already feels like plenty, it is. For a bigger challenge, do it in reverse, walking backward heel to toe with a firm grip on the counter and a wall close behind you. Backward is where people tend to lose it, so go slow and stay supported. Exercise 4 is the sit to stand, and this one braids strength and balance together because the single most common moment an older adult falls is during a transfer, rising from a chair or lowering back into it. So we rehearse it on purpose. Sit toward the front of your firm chair, feet flat and drawn back slightly under you, a little closer to the chair than feels natural. Lean your chest forward, get your nose out over your toes, and stand all the way up. Then lower yourself back down slowly, under control, with no dropping into the seat. That slow control. Push off the armrests with both hands if you need them, then one hand, then folded arms and no hands as you grow stronger. Aim for 10 in a row, and by the 10th, your legs should feel worked. If rising cleanly is a struggle, a firmer, taller seat is easier than a low, soft one, so add a cushion to lift yourself an inch or two. That small change makes a real difference. Exercise 5 wakes up the lower legs, which fade fast with age and quietly undermine your balance when they go. Stand tall and grip the counter. First, the heel raise. Rise up onto the balls of both feet, lifting your heels as high as you can, then lower slowly. Then the toe raise. Rock back onto your heels and lift your toes and the front of both feet off the floor, then lower. Alternate them, up onto the toes, back onto the heels, 10 to 15 times. Most people find rising onto the toes fairly easy and tipping back onto the heels much tighter, and that is perfectly normal. The mistake is letting your backside drift out behind you to cheat the lift, so stay upright and let the calves and shins do the honest work. Once this feels easy on 2 feet, try it balanced on a single leg for a real step up with your hands ready. Exercise 6 strengthens the muscles on the outside of your hips, the ones that keep you from tipping sideways, and it makes you balance on one leg while you do it. Hold the back of your chair with one hand. Keep a soft bend in the leg you are standing on. Do not lock that knee straight, because a locked knee does far less work. Now lift the other leg out to the side, straight out, with your toes pointing forward rather than turned out, and bring it back down with control. Keep the movement small and clean, and do not let your whole body lean to fling the leg up. 10 to 15 on each side. If it becomes easy, loop a light resistance band around your ankles. Or, and I love this one for its plain good sense, and slip on a winter boot, which adds a pound or two of honest resistance for free. Exercise 7 is marching in place, which trains the very thing you do thousands of times a day without thinking, shifting all your weight onto one leg so you can lift the other. Steady yourself at the counter. March slowly, lifting one knee up as high as is comfortable, set it down, then lift the other. Slow and controlled beats fast and floppy every time, because going slow forces your standing leg to hold that weight shift a good deal longer. This mirrors the real motion of climbing stairs, that steady left, right, left. One thing to watch at a counter or a sink: do not let your knees bang the cabinet just ahead of you, so back up a step if you need the room. Bring the knees a bit higher as you strengthen, ease the tempo down even further, and a simple march turns into genuinely good work. Before we keep going, if any of this is already helping you feel a little more sure of yourself, take 1 second and subscribe. I put out calm, do-it-at-home routines for staying strong and steady after 70, a fresh one every week. And I would love for you to have the next one waiting when you need it. All right, back on our feet. Exercise 8 is the clock reach, which teaches your body to stay planted while a leg moves out into empty space. which is exactly what happens when you step around something on the floor. Picture a clock face painted on the ground with you at its center. Stand on your left leg, one hand steadying you on the counter, a soft bend in that standing knee. With your right foot, reach out and tap the floor at 12 o'clock, straight ahead, then draw it back to center. Then tap 3 o'clock out to the side, back to center. Then reach behind you to 6 o'clock and back to center. If reaching all the way out feels shaky, bring the whole clock in smaller and tap closer, then grow it over the weeks. Switch to standing on the right leg to work the other side. This one takes a little setting up, and some of you will look at it and decide it is not for you today, which is completely fine. Come back to it once the earlier moves feel easy. Exercise 9 is a gentle back leg raise, which builds the muscles behind your hips that help you stand tall and stop you pitching forward. Face the counter, both palms resting on it, body tall. Slowly lift one leg straight out behind you, keeping it straight but not locked, and without leaning your upper body forward to cheat the lift. You travel only a small distance, a few inches is plenty. Squeeze the back of the hip at the top, then lower with control. 10 on each side, and keep it slow. If you feel any pinch in your lower back, you are leaning too far forward or lifting too high, so make the movement smaller. Keep it slow and keep the range small. Exercise 10 is sideways stepping, which trains the sideways balance. Stand at a long counter, or beside a wall you can trail a hand along. Step your right foot out to the side, then bring your left foot over to meet it, then step right again, traveling sideways along the counter in a slow shuffle. Go the full length one way, then reverse and travel back at the other, leading now with the left foot. Keep your toes pointing forward the whole time rather than turning to walk. Stepping sideways calls on those same outer hip muscles from a moment ago and teaches your feet to cover ground they almost never handle. For a harder version, cross one foot in front of the other as you travel, but only with a steady hand along the counter, because crossing the feet is where a small wobble can turn into a stumble. Exercise 11 is slow head turns while standing, and this one works the inner ear, the balance sensor we met at the very start that dims with age. This move is more advanced, so both hands stay down on the counter throughout, no exceptions. Stand tall, feet hip width, and slowly turn your head to look left, then slowly to the right, then gently up toward the ceiling and down toward the floor. Keep it slow and easy. Moving your head changes the signal your inner ear sends, so it will feel a touch unsteady at first, which is exactly why we keep both hands firmly planted. If turning your head makes you dizzy or queasy, stop, rest, and mention it to your doctor, because that is worth a conversation. For most people, practicing slow head movement while standing steady is how you stop feeling wobbly every time you turn to look at something across the room. Exercise 12 is the toe tap, which trains a quick, light foot while your standing leg holds you steady, the exact skill you use stepping up onto a curb. Stand tall with a hand on the countertop, weight settled onto your left foot. Now tap the toes of your right foot lightly out in front of you and bring it straight back. Then tap out to the side and back, keeping the taps quick and light while your standing leg stays quiet and strong. Do 10 taps, then settle your weight onto the right foot and tap with the left. The tapping foot barely matters. What you are really training is the standing leg, holding you steady while the other foot moves. Keep the tapping foot soft. Exercise 13 is a reaching drill, which teaches you to stay planted while your arms and body move. A moment that trips so many people at a cupboard or a high shelf. Stand tall a step back from your counter, feet hip width, both hands lightly on it to start. Reach one hand slowly across your body and up, as if setting a cup on a high shelf to the far side. Following your hand with your eyes, then bring it back. Then reach that same hand down and across as if picking something off a low chair and back up. Move slowly and feel your weight travel through your feet as your body leans and returns. Keep the other hand on the counter the entire time and lighten to fingertips only once you feel steady. This is real life rehearsed in a safe spot because a great many falls happen right in the middle of a reach like that. Exercise 14 is the mini squat, a small, safe bend that pours strength straight into the thighs your balance leans on. Face the counter and hold it with both hands, feet a bit wider than your hips, toes pointing forward or slightly out. Now bend your knees and sink your hips back and down as if lowering toward a chair just behind you, going only a few inches at first, keeping your heels flat and your knees tracking out over your toes rather than caving inward. Then press up through your heels to stand tall again. Do not chase depth. Keep the bend shallow and fully controlled.
8 to 10 of these, leaning on the counter as much as you need.
Strong thighs are what let you rise from chairs, climb stairs, and catch yourself, so this quiet little move does a great deal. Exercise 15 is the wall push-up, which strengthens the arms and shoulders that catch and steady you when you reach for support. Stand about arm's length from a clear stretch of wall, feet planted hip width. Place both palms flat on the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Now bend your elbows and let your body lean in toward the wall under control, keeping your body in one straight line from head to heels, then press yourself back out to the start. Keep your belly gently firm so your back stays long and straight. 8 to 10 slow repetitions. The stronger your arms, the more you can trust your counter and your handrail, because a rail only helps you if your arms are strong enough to use it. Exercise 16 is the standing knee lift and hold, which takes the marching motion and adds the hardest part, staying frozen and steady on one leg. Keep a hand at the counter, stand tall, and slowly lift one knee up toward hip height. Then hold it there, still, for a slow count of 3 to 5 before setting it down. Then lift the other knee and hold. The holding is where the work lives because your standing leg and your deep hip muscles have to lock you in place while nothing moves. Do 5 on each side. If holding is too much at first, lift and lower without the pause and add the hold a second at a time as you strengthen. This is the exact skill you use to pause mid-step on a stair when someone stops in front of you. Exercise 17 is stepping over an object, which trains your feet to clear things instead of catching a toe on them, one of the most common ways people trip. Lay a small, soft object on the floor in front of you, a rolled-up hand towel or a pool noodle, nothing hard you could roll an ankle on. Stand beside your counter with a hand trailing along it. Now step over the towel with one foot, plant it, bring the other foot over to join it, then turn or step back and cross the other way. Lift your feet with purpose, actually clearing the object rather than shuffling into it, and keep your eyes up and forward once you know it is there. As you steady, raise the object slightly or lighten your hand on the counter. This is how you teach your feet to pick up over a threshold, a garden hose, or the lip of a rug without a thought. Exercise 18 is the advanced tier, only for those of you who found the earlier ones genuinely easy. There are 2 ways to turn nearly any move here up a level. The first is to take away your eyes. Try the one-leg stand or the heel-to-toe stand with your eyes closed, and I mean this seriously, with both hands firmly on the counter and a wall behind you, because without your vision, the wobble arrives fast and strong. Closing your eyes forces your feet and your inner ear to do the whole job alone, which is powerful training and genuinely humbling. The second way is to change the ground under you. Stand on a firm cushion, a folded pillow, or a foam pad, which makes the surface unstable and roughly doubles the difficulty of everything. Combine the two only if you are very steady and very well supported. If today's basics still challenge you, skip this tier for now. It will wait here until you are ready. And once several of these feel genuinely easy, there is one more level, which is stacking 2 skills together the way real life does. Real life never asks you to do just one thing at a time. So try the heel-to-toe walk while slowly turning your head left and right, the way you would glancing at shelves as you walk down a store aisle. Or hold your one-leg stand while reaching that same side hand out to place an imaginary cup on a shelf. Or march in place while you count backward out loud from 100 by threes. Because carrying on a conversation while you move is exactly what trips people in the real world. Add these combinations only with a hand near your counter, and only once each piece is solid on its own. This is where the training quietly turns into the way your body simply carries you through an ordinary day. Now, I have to cover one more thing, because pretending it never happens does you no favors. Even careful people sometimes go down. So let me walk you through how to get up off the floor safely, because getting up the wrong way is how a small fall becomes a serious injury. If you do fall, first do nothing at all for a moment. Lie still, breathe, and take stock of whether anything actually hurts. If you feel hurt or you cannot get up, stay where you are, keep warm, and call for help. Which is exactly why a phone or a medical alert button in your pocket earns its keep. And a hard truth worth knowing before it ever happens. If you feel yourself going down and you cannot stop it, try not to stiffen and throw out a straight arm to catch yourself, because that is how wrists and shoulders break. Instead, tuck your chin to protect your head and try to go down soft and roll, letting the meat of your hip, thigh, and shoulder take the landing rather than a locked out bone. You cannot rehearse a real fall, but simply knowing to protect your head and stay loose can change how one ends. If you feel able to rise, do it in slow stages. Roll onto your side, then push yourself up onto your hands and knees. Crawl over to a sturdy chair or a solid, heavy piece of furniture. Set both hands flat on the seat of the chair and bring your stronger leg up so that foot plants flat on the floor in a half kneel, the other knee still down. Then, pushing up through your hands and that front foot together, rise and slowly turn your body around to sit down into the chair. Sit and rest there before you do anything else at all. Practice this sequence once or twice now while you are fine and someone is with you, so your body already knows the way up if the day ever comes. There is nothing grim about it. Knowing the path back to your feet ahead of time is what turns fear into quiet confidence. So how do you turn 18 exercises into a real habit in the 1 minute a day I promised you? That is the mistake that has people quitting by Thursday. Instead, pick 2 or 3 that felt useful, the ones where you thought, that one is for me, and do only those. Spread them across your day. 1 set while the coffee brews, 1 set before lunch, 1 set in the evening while you brush your teeth. 30 seconds to a minute at a time, 3 little pockets a day, and you have challenged your balance without ever carving out a workout. Rotate which 2 or 3 you choose from 1 week to the next, so your body keeps meeting something fresh instead of coasting. And once a month, run those 2 fridge tests again and watch the numbers move. One trick makes it stick. Tie each little set to something you already do without fail. Balance on one leg while the kettle boils. Do your heel raises while the microwave counts down. Practice heel-to-toe steps down the hallway on your way to bed. When the exercise rides along with a habit you already have, you never have to remember it or find time for it. It just happens. And within a couple of weeks, it simply becomes part of your day. And keep noticing the small wins out loud, the extra 5 seconds, the finger you lifted off the counter, because noticing your own progress is a big part of what keeps people going. Small, safe, and steady is what wins here every single time. Here is what to expect, honestly. The first week, some of these will feel embarrassingly hard, and you will grip that counter tighter than you would like. Gripping hard at the very start is completely normal, and it is the exact thing that improves with practice. Somewhere around the 2nd or 3rd week, you will notice you are using fewer fingers, holding on a little less, standing a little longer. That is the whole thing happening quietly right under you. Your body is always willing to relearn how to keep you upright, and you have just handed it the reason to. If your legs feel weak on these and you want to build the strength beneath your balance first, the next thing to watch is a seated leg strengthening routine you can do entirely from your chair, no standing required, and it pairs perfectly. Same steadiness that keeps you safe is what lets you keep living the way you choose, out in the garden, down to the grandchildren's level, and back up, out the door to wherever you still want to go, and that is worth every careful minute you spend on it.
Start there, stand tall, and I will see you in the next one.